Open up your mind to the way, the conscious way, the way of conscious mindfulness. Podcast with me, Sifu Boggie. Sifu means guide, muse, somebody who points you along the way, who guides you on your path. Boggie means the balancer between the chaos and the calmness. And he's my martial art, my spiritual, and my healing name. And for the last 39 years, I have studied the Daoist arts. The Dao means the way, the path, the balance. And with many different techniques like Tai Chi, Qigong, Tit-Ta, Tuina, Chinese massage, reflexology, Daoist philosophy, and many other techniques and skills, I help people balance themselves, heal themselves, especially from chronic pain, anxiety, and stress. And also help people, everybody, but especially life coaches, healers, and light workers supercharge themselves and ensure they never burn out. So welcome to this Saturday show of Sit Down with Sifu on a Saturday. Hello, Saturday. And this episode is about the sacred child, the inner child. So in Taoism, there is a saying that it says, be like a child, but take responsibility like an adult. And what is this meant by this? Well, you have the divine feminine, the yin, the Kuan yin energy, which we'll talk about in another show. You have the divine masculine, or general Guan, or Guan Yu, which again, we'll talk about another show. And then the third one that balances the three, which is part of the three ones, is the sacred child. So you have the feminine, the masculine, and the sacred child. And the childlike energy is to be like a child. So to see the wonder of the world, to be open up to new experiences, to always want to learn more. Why this? Why this? Why? To ask all those questions. To be able to, to see, a cloud and be wondered by the awe of the cloud, or look at a tree and see the beauty in the tree, see the beauty in the sunset, to see the wonder in a butterfly. This is the childlike energy, the inner child, is to see when you was a child, you saw this magic, you saw this wonder. You also, when you was a child, for a lot of people, a lot of children, they had imaginary friends, as we call them as adults. Were they really imaginary? Babies babble, or as little children, we make up languages. Well, now a lot of people call this light language or light code, and, when we were a child, we got told off for talking to imaginary friends. But then as adults, we go and see psychics, or we go and see somebody who's talking to spirit guides. And it's like, well, why? How is that different? So the sacred child is about that nature of being a child, the childhood energy of seeing magic everywhere, everything being magic. And within DragonDog Shaman, magic is simply science, not yet understood. So the wonders of the universe, the wonders of reality, in a child's eyes, you seeing that expansion, you see that beauty, you see, notice things. Children tend to notice things that adults don't, and they tend to ask questions or see things that adults seem to miss because they're seeing it from a different perspective. They have a wider viewpoint. So within Taoism, they talk about being like that child, allowing yourself to always ask the wise, to be that empty cup, to gain more and more information. When we become adults, we seem to close ourselves off. We seem to think, oh yes, I know so much, I know this. and we actually close off our perception. We close down our consciousness rather than saying, oh, there's so much more to learn. There's so much more wonder to see. So the sacred child energy is this energy of expansion, of wonder, of magic. But also there's another side to the sacred child, is that within Taoism, it is said that your goal, your aim is to be balanced, is to flow within harmony. But if you are angry or upset or annoyed, then do what you need to do to get it out. So if you need to scream, if you need to shout, if you need to cry, if you need to have a temper tantrum like a child, then do so. So the whole idea of children, when they get frustrated, they get all angry and they stamp up and down and they explode. And in nature, we see this all the time, a thunderstorm, a hurricane, and, the massive waves in the ocean. This is how the planet releases energy. It lets go of char, things it no longer needs, negative energy. And the child does the same. A child will have a temper tantrum, then calm down and be fine. So the energy of the child is, if you need to let things go, even if it means, not being happy and letting out that anger, it's not a bad thing. Which is quite interesting because I'm normally, I'm mainly a positive person and a happy person. And, people will often say, oh, you've got so much energy, Boggie, you're so much full of love and laughter. But if I'm annoyed, if I am upset, which it doesn't happen often, but if it happens and it gets to a point where I can't let it go, then I will, I'll explode or I can be quite loud at times. I can be quite, loud in my voice, but it's letting out my enthusiasm. It's letting that energy out. It's letting that energy overflow. Because within the Daoist philosophy, the bigger the up, the bigger the down, the bigger the down, the bigger the up. And sometimes you need to let that energy explode to calm things down. But if you can reduce it, there are ways. There's a Qigong for that. There are techniques that when you've had a great party, you can go and do some Qigong, a little bit of meditation, and chill out and bring yourself down to a natural balance rather than, you have a great party and then the next day you feel quite low, you feel quite depleted, like you've run out of energy. Now, the other thing with the sacred child energy is children tend to do what they need. The Daoists say, eat when hungry, drink when thirsty, sleep when tired, laugh when happy, cry when sad, shout when angry, yawn when tired, and so on and so forth. And children tend to do this. Children tend to, if they're when they're hungry, they eat. When they're tired, they'll want to sleep, especially as babies. But as they grow up, or as they grow up in our reality, we sort of manipulate and change things. That our work dictates when you can eat. Your life dictates when you can sleep. You're sort of it's inappropriate to laugh now, or it's inappropriate to cry now. If you're a man, you shouldn't be crying. You're a man, or you shouldn't be doing this if you're this or that. So the Tao is about flowing with these energies, about understanding these energies in a different way, and the sacred child is part of that. The sacred child energy is experiencing and allowing yourself to, enjoy the magic, see the awe and wonder. Don't take things for granted. Appreciate everything, even a rainbow, even just your natural surroundings. To be able to go outside and it's so beautiful, the colours, and to be able to appreciate that like a child, to see the magic in simple things. Also, this thing of if you're tired, when you can, sleep. If you're hungry, eat. If you're thirsty, drink. Now, again, within our society, these things are sort of controlled and sort of stopped. But the nature of, if you can allow yourself to be more childlike and enjoy these things in a certain way, that is a thing to do. Now, another part of this, the sacred child, is play, allowing yourself to play. Now, as adults, we sort of say, oh, play is a certain thing. Play is this and play is that. We manipulate these energies and this way of being. But childlike play is doing simple pleasures, drawing, painting, singing, dancing just for dancing's sake, singing for singing's sake, and not caring about, whether you sound good or not, or drawing things, not caring how it looks. You draw because it's what you want to do. It's expressing yourself. Because everything you do and everything you say and everything you are is an expression. So it's allowing yourself to express these capabilities, to express these things in an honest way. So the sacred child is about honest expression. It's about play, allowing yourself to play in the environment, to play with different situations, play with things, but in a carefree way, not stipulating that it has to be like this, or it has to be like that. Allowing it to be innocent, allow it to be, it is what it is. So the sacred child energy is very important within Daoist philosophy. It is part of the three ones and the three attributes. There are different versions of this three symbology. And there is even a symbol. If you've seen the Tai Chi symbol or Yin Yang symbol, as a lot of people call it, it's a circle with a sort of like a fish head with a little tail. And there's normally a black one and a white one. There can be different colors. But there's another symbol where there is three of these in that circle. Now, if you actually are listening to this podcast and you actually look at the symbol to the Shun Dao logo, the Shun Dao symbol, Shun Dao school symbol, you will see right in the center, you'll see the circle with these three little dots. One is red, one is green, and one is purple. And it symbolizes a lot of things. It can symbolize Qi, Jing, and Shen. It can symbolize mind, body, spirit. It also symbolizes the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and the sacred child. So the sacred child is an important energy. We have, the inner child is within us. When we grow up, what we don't realize is that we may grow, but there is still a shadow of us. There's still a childlike version of us that still exists. In society, we sort of try to, discredit this and, like you shouldn't talk to yourself because, that you're going mad. But actually, they have found people talking to themselves actually strengthens their character, helps them balance their mind. So actually talking to yourself is actually more of a positive thing than it is a negative thing. And children are known for this. They will talk to themselves and have conversations. Or even conversations with their imaginary friends. But again, like I said, in the spiritual world, we talk to our spirit guides. We talk to, these things that may not physically be there, but they're there within energy, within spirit. And this is the point, is that as children, we did this naturally. As children, we naturally did things in a flowing way. As children, we naturally played, innocently, and we allowed our imaginations to flow and run riot and do many different things. And through our imagination and through play, we can create so many wonderful realities. We can create so many wonderful things. But that happens by allowing the inner child to be there. So in future podcasts, we'll talk about the divine feminine and divine masculine and their importance and their role. But the sacred child, the inner child, is a very important thing. And a lot of people nowadays are talking about the divine feminine for women and divine masculine for men. But the divine feminine is an energy. The divine masculine is an energy. The sacred child is an energy. It is part of you. All three of those are part of you. So awakening the sacred child, allowing your inner childlike energy to exist and to be awoken and to give it love and support is a very important thing, especially when we sort of look at or we talk about we talk about shadow work. When people talk about shadow work, they talk about releasing what is no longer needed. But one of the most important things is not only releasing what is no longer needed, but awakening what is sleeping. So the inner child. The inner child exists within all of us and has always been there. But if you don't allow it to exist, if you don't allow it to play, if you don't allow it to be, you say, oh no, I'm an adult, I must act in a certain way and I must be in a certain way. You don't allow yourself to play, if you don't allow yourself to be like that child and embrace your inner child that's in you, you will be disembodied, you will be disconnected. And in Tao, it's all about the balance, the flow, the way, the path. So balancing not just the feminine attributes of yourself, the masculine attributes of yourself, whether you're man, woman, banana or goat, you have a feminine side, you have a masculine side, but you also have this sacred child side. Now, if anything, a lot of people say I am very playful and very silly and I am very joyful. In fact, my daughter, my 19-year-old daughter, ever since she was about 6, she's always said, Dad, I think I'm the adult in this relationship. I'm the grown-up. And it's always been one of our running jokes that she was getting older and older, and I was still the youngest. But it's the whole idea of we need to play. You need to see the wonder of the world, because that's how we change the world. People were talking about, stopping the world from being destroyed, finding ways to save the planet. You want to save the planet? Look at the children. Ask the children. They're the ones still connected to the universe. They're the ones still connected to the Tao. And then when you look at the children, look at them to see how you can gain that back, how you can get back to that childlike energy, because that's important. Yes, being connected to Gaia is important. Yes, connected to the divine feminine is important. Being connected to the divine masculine is important. But so is that inner child, that childlike nature, allowing yourself to see the awe, the wonder, the magic, allowing yourself to play, allowing yourself to have a temper tantrum if you need one, to let out that stress and tension, to go and go and stamp your feet or go and shout in a park. In actual fact, one of my good friends who's no longer with us, the Barefoot Doctor, he would do this great thing of he would have a dog lead. He didn't actually have a dog, but he would have a dog lead and he'd go to the park, and if he'd have a stressful day healing people and doing massage, he would go to the local park and he would take this dog lead and he would go, Rolly! And he would shout this name, Rolly, for this imaginary dog. And it was like a primal scream. It was his way of, shouting to the world. And people would think, oh, he's just calling for his dog. But it was just actually a way for him to let out some steam, to let some char go. And, have some fun, play, do silly things like that. Or, the whole idea of people who are into steampunk or into Star Wars and this idea of being able to dress up and be a Jedi or be a character of the Lord of the Rings. It's play. It's allowing yourself to express yourself in that way. going and, doing art again, just painting anything, painting abstract stuff, just for the sake of it, just again, allowing yourself to play. This is part of the nature of the inner child. It's something, it's something I could talk about or repeat myself a lot. I think the inner child is really important. And I grew up with a lot of people saying, "Oh, Boggie, you're so silly. You act so childlike. Act so silly." And it's like, yes, because you've actually lost your inner child. When you cut off that energy and you act all serious, and you start to lose the magic. You start to lose the connection with the universe, and you start to stop seeing how you can do things. Being that inner child, playing with that energy, allows you to actually follow the Tao and find ways to flow with the Tao, flow with the universe. So I think I've ranted enough about the inner child. I hope it's sparked something in you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I am on many different platforms. You can find me on Instagram under Sifu.Boggie. You can find me on YouTube under Sifu Boggie. You can find me on Facebook on the page The Way of Conscious Mindfulness. There's also a Discord community called Sifu Boggie's Chi Tribe, where we do Qigong, we talk about the I Ching, we talk about sacred geometry, we talk about ghosts and fairies. There's many different things on the community, an open community, free for all, but it's also connected to the Shundao School, where we learn Qigong. I can teach you Qigong, teach you the energy work. So Shunji Shen, which is Chinese Reiki. There's also Tahiti, which is another form of ancient Reiki. And there's Eastern Reiki I teach as well. So that exists in the Shundao School, which is also on Patreon under Patreon, www.patreon.com/Sifu Boggie. Now, all these links you'll see below, or if you're seeing this on YouTube, you'll find it on there as well. So take care. Bye for now. Love, Chi, and Shen. Sifu Boggie.